Hey, Basement Prepper back with another video on pretty much how all my preps failed me this week, other than a couple. A couple really helped me out, but pretty much 90% of them failed. We lost power for about 4 days this week due to an ice storm, and the problem I was running into was food to cook. You know, I have tons of rice and beans and the great Mountain House, all different flavors. But guess who wouldn't eat it? The wife or the kid. None of them wanted it. So I found myself every day going out to eat. You know, if it wasn't Arby's, it was McDonald's. And I would drive to one place, find out it's closed, have to drive another 4 more miles another direction. And I did this every day for breakfast, not for breakfast, but for lunch and dinner. And, you know, it was really starting to piss me off because I really had no way of cooking food. These sterno things, these don't really, you know, they don't really cook that well. You're not going to cook any meat with them, that's for sure. You can boil water with them, but keep stuff warm, but you're not really going to cook with them. I found that out. So, what was I saying? But yeah, about the food, I didn't really have a way of cooking it. You know, I have my grill outside, but for the 4 days we were without power, it was, you know, if it wasn't raining, it was freezing rain. So every day going out to eat, getting stuff. You know, I found out that my wife or the kid is not going to eat soup every day. I also found out that they're definitely not going to eat beans and rice every day. You know, sure, they'll eat it if it's like some real serious, you know, grid down, but it's, you know, it's not that serious because I could just take my ass over to the next town over and go get fast food, and that's what happened. But if I would have had a way to cook food, what I'm thinking is like one of those smaller camping grills with the like the heat tops that run off propane. Get something like that to keep, so I can, you know, I can make breakfast. I can continue to make the food in my fridge. You know, I don't have to get my ass in the car and go drive somewhere twice a day, go wait in a 30-minute line at McDonald's to get a couple double cheeseburgers. So that's something I'm going to do. I'm going to change a few things around to make it a more realistic thing, because this whole, I think a lot of people prep for the big, you know, EMP or nuclear war, you know, whatever fits your fancy, but I think a lot of people skip on the, you know, the 4 days without power because a tree fell on one of the lines or something. You know, the more common stuff that happens every year. Luckily, we did have some power. My dad brought over a generator, but we could only run the furnace, the fridge, and like 2 lights with it. So that was some of the stuff I found out that I was definitely lacking in. You know, but like in a real grid down, I don't think I would run the generator, you know, after the first week, because it is pretty loud. I am in a subdivision, you know, and, you know, it'll just be a dead giveaway. The one cool thing about it was I got to use my night vision. Got to see how cool that worked. That was pretty sweet. It's not actually mine. A friend loaned it to me. And, well, I guess one of the things that saved my ass are these Harbor Freight solar panels. I got 2 of them here. I used 2 of them. I didn't bring all 4 in the house. I used 2 of them, and I think, yeah, it was 2 of them, and I put them in my daughter's room. I was able to get the sun coming through the window, and like I said, it was raining for the 4 days, so it wasn't no, you know, straight sun on them, and plus it was coming in through the window, and they weren't directed really in the right direction. But between the 2 of them, I think I could pull like 17.5 volts. And it was enough to keep my battery charged, and I used that to run my fish tank to keep the fish from dying, charge our phones, and my wife had an asthma attack, so she was able to plug her asthma machine into it, and we ran that, and this thing kept up, no problem at all. I mean, these things were like a lifesaver. Plus, they come with the LED bulbs. It comes with 2 of them. And they each have their on-off switch. I think each cord is 15 feet. and they're super bright. I used them the first night in my stepdaughter's room to light up her room because she didn't want to sleep in the dark. And then we had the extra one, but we didn't use it because that was bright enough to light up her room, the hallway, and we were able to move around. So it worked out great. I'm going to do a review on these Harbor Light solar panels when I get a chance. I started to do a video on it and my battery died. So, like I said, a work in progress. This is another thing I used to get around the house the first couple days. Was the motion sensor LED. These are actually for the outside of your house. I bought a couple of them from Costco's. I think they were on sale for $29, and I'll tell you what, those things will stay on forever. Right now we got a newborn, and she's sleeping in our room with us in her crib, and I set the motion sensor to it so every time we got up it went off so we could see what we were doing to deal with the baby. So that worked out great. But the whole food part, you know, I think that's what everybody is doing wrong with the preps, because I know I can't be the only one that's like, oh shit, I got 100 pounds of rice and 300 pounds of beans or whatever it is. Okay, well good. Do you really have a way of cooking it other than starting a fire in your backyard for everybody to know? And are you going to eat that every day? Yeah, you might have some salt to put on it or different seasonings or whatever for your rice, but it's going to get old quick. And when it gets old is when tension is going to start brewing. And even the mountain houses, these are great. But yet, nobody in my family wanted any of them. Not to mention, it took a while to heat up with one of these and get the water boiling. I used this Sterno cooking thing that came with a kit I bought. I wouldn't advise you to buy it unless you're going to put it over an actual fire, because these little heater things here just it won't boil water. I don't care what you do and what you try. Even if you set this thing up, put the water in there, it takes fucking forever. I notice it's got this thicker plate on the bottom. You can kind of see it right here. It's a little thicker, and it takes forever for the heat to soak through and get there. I've got another one. This one here, this is one actually I use when I go camping, backpacking. This one absorbs the heat a lot better. It's got the copper bottom to it, and it'll actually boil water with them over it a lot quicker. You'll actually get somewhere with that. But the one that Sterno gives you in the kit that comes with this folds up, sits on top, and you slide one of these in there. Good luck. So, yeah, and then all my other preps I never used, I didn't use the walkie-talkies that I spent so much money on because I just picked up my fucking phone and called somebody. I didn't use my ham radio. What else did I not use that I have? There was just a lot of shit that I got that I didn't use because the grid wasn't fully down. I didn't use the emergency radio, didn't use the ham radio, didn't use the walkie-talkies because I could do all that off my smartphone. So this shit is great for like a real grid down, but it's not. It's fucking useless for, being without power for a week when you're, just in your little neighborhood. And so I think a lot of us prep for all the wrong stuff and not the real stuff. If you guys got any thoughts on that, go ahead and put it down there. But that's what I've gathered from losing power for the 4 days that we lost it for. I found myself going to McDonald's, Taco Bell, waiting in long lines. And I noticed a lot of them that were in our affected area, they weren't open. I thought a lot of these fast food places had backup generators to keep up and going, and they don't. So what would happen if it was like a real grid down? If an EMP did happen, where would these people get their food? I thought I was sufficiently prepared, which I found out I wasn't, because most of the people at my house won't eat what I have, and a lot of people don't have but a couple days worth of food. What would really happen then? I went to a 7-Eleven one morning to get a coffee, and everybody was in there talking oh, is your power back up? No, your power this, that, you know, and people say, all I want to do is take a shower. You know, and I was thinking that whole time, like, you know, what if this was like 2 weeks into like a shit hits the fan, you know? Will we still be having these same conversations right now here? Probably not. The place would have been looted or burnt down by them, you know, but I was just thinking how quick the situation could turn because it was an isolated area that was affected. You know, all I had to do was go 10 miles this way or that way and they had power. So I found out that I'm going to buy propane, and that's what I'm going to use for my main thing, you know, for these power outages. And, you know, if something really big did happen, I mean, that's what I'm going to use to cook with at first. I seen a YouTube video, let me grab here, on how to make a stove out of a 50 cal ammo box. And I think that's going to be my next project. Because what I would do in a real grid down situation is I would have my stove. We got trees around. I can collect, you know, tinder and all that to keep it going. Don't mind all the mess. I would move these out of the way and hook my pipe up to run it out of the house. So I would be able to heat this little room down here that I store my preps in and then run it out of the house. And also be able to cook my food on top of it. And that's my thought for actually sustaining heat and cooking food. That's going to be my go-to thing after I run out of propane. Let me know what you guys think of that. I'm also going to change the ductwork coming out. It's just that cheap shit. I'm going to actually put the I don't know what it is, ducking that's supposed to go there. So that will be changed, but that's going to be my plan, to keep heat down here in this little room and to cook food. Like I said, I'm also going to do a review on the solar panels, the Harbor Freight ones that I was telling you guys about that saved my ass. And I also want to do a video on home security. What do you guys use for home security? I got a few things I use. These SunForce lights I just bought. I have motion lights around the house right now, but they all run off of the grid. And I want to go solar, and that's what these are. So I'm going to replace them with solar lights. You know, because I figured if your house is going to get broken into, that's going to be the time it's going to get broken into, when nobody on the block has power. And let's see, I got a couple other things that I use for securing my house, and I'm gonna do a video on that, show it, and just see what other ideas you guys got for you know, what you plan on doing or what you've already done to secure your house. So anyways, Basement Prepper out.